We're in trouble in America. We're losing our moral bearings. We're losing our respect for the rule of law. And you look around America today and things are bad and they're getting worse. We're broke. We're dispirited. We're scared. We've been moving closer and closer to socialism, further away from God, the Constitution, doing what's right in our own eyes, and all the while not noticing that it's killing us. It's killing our nation.
Just beginning.
Americans tend to be too comfortable, slowly but surely turning their backs on the sacrifices their forefathers made for liberty.
Here, I'll bring in the music, okay?
Why is that? As bad as it is, as horrible as it seems, as unlikely as it appears that we can escape, what we're going through can actually be a vitally necessary experience for us, and one that is ultimately very healthy and liberating for this country. The truth needs to be told in all the dark places, because it's the truth that sets us free.
WorldNet Daily is live. It is January 3rd, 2024, and we are going to be jumping into these terror attacks and what we know so far. The FBI response has been lackluster. First labeling it not terrorism, now it's other people are calling it terrorism. We've got an ISIS flag lying on the floor. I mean, there's so much to dive into here. We're going to walk through this as much as we can and get you all up to speed. We'll also are taking note that the House is electing a new speaker today, and so we will keep tabs on that if anything breaks in terms of whether Mike Johnson gets elected or something else happens. So we'll keep tabs on that. But otherwise, let's bring in Josh Turnbow here. Josh, Happy New Year to you, my friend.
Happy New Year, Matt. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, and I'm trying to not say any puns because of what happened over the terror of this, but it definitely started off not as we expected, and but to some maybe as expected. We're going to get into that stuff. What should we look at here first before we dive into it all? I think is the fact that. I mean, my perspective so far has been since the election of Donald Trump, things have been fairly quiet in terms of violence, in terms of protesting and things like that. Mm-hmm. And so when day one of 2025 starts off, you kind of start and you see these attacks, you kind of start to wonder, what are we in for 2025?
Yeah, I mean, are we? What's today? The third?
Yeah.
The third day of 2025. And it feels like the same kind of playbook that we're used to, at least in the fact that there's pure like incompetence by the government, right? This government that's in charge, gosh, for whatever the next 17 days or 18 days, give or take, whatever the swearing in is so incompetent on every level too. And like all the characters kind of look the same. We're gonna show them in this show, like the chief of police here and there. They all look the same. The FBI spokesperson, mm-hmm. all just generally clueless and defensive. So I mean, the first thing we have is this WorldNet Daily's covering this. We have our article over at the main website, worldnetdaily.com. I'd love everybody to go over there and check out the article.
Yes,
we'll pop
please.
that up here.
Yeah, please do. But are we going to do that? Because I was going to throw it to the Patriot Mobile. We can.
Yeah, let's throw it to our buddies at Patriot Mobile. Oh yeah,
yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah. Do it, man.
Patriot Mobile, patriotmobile.com/WNDPatriot. That is the place you need to go. If you're looking for a conservative wireless provider, if you're stuck on T-Mobile or AT&T, Verizon, any one of those other places that you just are just like, you're like, I don't like what I'm getting. I don't think that my money is being supported in a way. They go into all sorts of different issues and they donate their money elsewhere. If you're really thinking about those types of things, Patriot Mobile is a place where you can trust that not only will you get great coverage, because that's key right there. You want to have a good product, but they donate part of their profits to causes that you care about. So head over to patriotmobile.com/WNDpatriot, scan the QR code, or hit the link in the description of this show, and it'll take you right there. And be sure to use the promo code WNDpatriot to sign up and switch your mobile service today. All right, let's look it over. Let's get into this story here. The first one we're going to take, I think, which is the more fascinating one. Here's the story at WorldNet Daily. They're exploring possible links between two New Year's Day terrorists. Now, there was the Cybertruck in front of the Trump Tower in Las Vegas, and then there was the horrific. What do we call this when someone just drives through a crowd? I mean, is there a name for this, Josh? This is just absolute insanity and cowardly too. It's just so bizarre.
It is Islamic terrorist option number one. It seems like now. We just saw it.
We saw it in Germany.
We saw, I think there was one in the UK as well over Christmas, and now here in New Orleans. It's a super effective thing. I think if we remember a few years back, there was like a giant truck drove through. I can't remember what European town it was, but same MO.
Yeah. Well, first let's look at the Cybertruck thing here. We've got a clip. We're going to show these clips. If you've been trying to avoid them on the internet because they might be disturbing to you, we're going to show the same things. But so just fair warning here. But here's the first clip. This is the Cybertruck. This was posted by Colin Rugg over on X.
So as I'm calling it now, the subject or person of interest, I will not come back until I have the confirmation through DNA or medical records that this is indeed, in fact, the subject inside of the vehicle. Now, further complicating this identification of this individual, we also discovered through the coroner's office that the individual had sustained a gunshot wound to the head prior to the detonation of the vehicle. One of the handguns was found at his feet inside of the.
Okay. Yeah, there's so much going on in that clip. I was watching the explosion as we were listening to him say they haven't really confirmed that that this is the same guy yet.
Yeah, that's a really weird twist, right? Because everyone's just kind of like try to go find family members, anything they can on him, and the sheriff is like pushing back and saying like, "Hold on, we haven't even confirmed it's him."
Right. Even though they have his picture up on the screen next to him
and his name, right?
Yeah.
And his middle name, which officially tells you that he's gonna be famous for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So then what the heck is going on, right? So you mentioned that I don't want to jump forward in the story for us here, but yeah, they find a body. The body has a gunshot wound through the head. They assume that that's from one of the weapons, which is a pistol, I think they're saying, which is really bizarre because it's a Desert Eagle pistol.
And that's a hefty carry weapon.
I mean,
too many people who carry that.
The 1980s, this is what Arnold Schwarzenegger would carry around. I mean, right. It's a really strange weapon. I mean, it'll do the job for sure, but everyone's like a Desert Eagle. So strange.
Yeah. So here's what we know. He was found with a gunshot wound to his head.
Yeah.
He was stationed at some point at Fort Bragg, just like the New Orleans driver. He rented from this company called Turo, just like the guy who rented the truck in New Orleans. This happened on the same day as the New Orleans attack. I mean, you could say yes or no to that one. It was New Year's, right? It was a New Year's Day celebration. Mm-hmm. The Green Beret, he was a Green Beret military bomb expert, which I'd like to tap into in a moment. And yet he used amateur explosives. When I was watching that clip there, you could see that the initial explosion happens, and it happens towards the back of the vehicle. Mm-hmm. And then there's the debris that falls out, and then fireworks.
Yeah,
the firecrackers start going off. And I was like, okay, this guy was a weapons expert and so forth, and he's packing his Cybertruck with with some sort of an incendiary device and then fireworks. I mean, it screamed of like a Roger Corman movie, you know, where they're trying to like, you know, fake, not fake, but just have an explosion that looks big on camera. I mean, and we know that nothing, this really didn't affect any of the doors of Trump Tower or anything there. So it's quite bizarre. It was just really a spectacle.
Yeah. There's too many like weird questions. We do know that, and we have some video of this too, that he had recently gone through a divorce, so that, and like really recently, so he may have been emotionally distraught. Again, we live in a weird time where like we can't just collect information. We have to really look at it and analyze it. One of the things from that tweet that popped up was the idea that he and the other terrorist suspect, I mean, we're pretty certain it's him now, the gentleman in New Orleans. I guess he's not a gentleman. They all went,
So
he
polite.
went to Fort Bragg, right? Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
It's kind of a story and not a story, because like most folks in the military will go through Fort Bragg if they're in the Army. It's such a huge base in North Carolina. There's like 55,000 people there serving. So, you know, the Army's a massive organization. Does it mean anything? We don't know. One thing we can say is that out of the many people in the Army, there's a lot of people not doing well mentally. I mean, the Shamshud guy was from New Orleans. This guy was a wreck. I mean, he was mentally a mess. His life was a mess. Also, multiple divorces, kind of a declining life. And then somehow that led to him being a wannabe ISIS guy, which is
right.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at the damage to Trump Tower. They say it's very light. This Nick Sorter, he's from, I think, Timcast. He was a regular on Tim Pool's show. He posts. He was following this story pretty closely. I was watching his stuff. This is what he had to show from of the effects of the blast on Trump Tower. I mean, they're open for business, number one. I mean, I don't know when. I mean, this happened 2 days ago, and that place is already buzzing as if nothing happened.
Yeah,
and you see,
they never stop in Vegas, right?
No, ever, right?
Never.
And then directly above where the Cybertruck was parked and exploded was where you could see some damage. But other than that, there was nothing else.
Yeah, and you know, like it was such a. I mean, thank God, but it was a bad bomb, right? So the first thing it did is it started smoking. Mm-hmm. And so there was no one near it. If it had been like just a bomb that would gone off, that would have really hurt people if they were near it when it went off. But they weren't near it because the thing was like smoking for 20, 30 seconds, which is also weird, you know? I mean, whatever this is, I mean, I went back and looked at our thumbnails from the previous shows, Matt. It's just so unrelenting now in the news. But this is like, these two things feel more aligned, right? Because bombs, disgruntled military people. The one has the ISIS thing, and we don't know anything about the Matthew guy other than like, you know, he's a Green Beret. We're still putting it all together, but
yeah.
The Cybertruck in front of Trump, and then the media is like, oh, he was a Trump fan. And I'm like, I don't see that at all.
You know? I mean, straight. Here's the thing about, like, you know, suicides and people that have just a emotional baggage that they carry with them that they end up killing themselves, is like, you have no idea what's going on in their mind if they were in control of everything that they were doing. Let's look at the footage of the Cybertruck after it exploded. This was broadcast on Fox News, and it looks like Elon's I think this is Elon's pack at America on X posted this. Let's look at it, because the car is still, you can still tell it's a it's a Cybertruck.
What I also would like you to pay attention to on that video, as you see that, It looks like the exterior of that truck is completely intact as it sits there.
Yeah, I mean
That
it's all of the stuff is back there.
Really limited the damage that occurred inside of the valet because it had most of the blast go up through the truck and out. In fact, if you look on that video, you'll see that the front glass doors at the Trump hotel were not even broken by that blast, which they were.
Yeah, it like funneled the explosion backwards.
Right.
A little up and definitely out the back. Elon's like,
incredible.
That's how we build them. You know, one of our comments here, I'm going to put this up. Calcom says the racing fuel is key factor. High octane fuels burn slow. So I guess he's suggesting that was racing fuel in the back of the car. You can see the cans. I didn't know what it was. It's an interesting comment. He's saying media tells a story, but not so. That is interesting. You know, like you can have the wrong kind of fuel. It won't burn. It won't combust fast enough to give you the explosion you want.
Right.
Gasoline, good.
Right.
Other forms of it, not as good.
Yeah. Elon Musk tweeted out or posted on X, the evil knucklehead picked the wrong vehicle for a terrorist attack. Cybertruck actually contained the explosion and directed the blast upwards. Not even the glass doors of the lobby were broken. So this is Elon taking a
lap on
this. Yeah.
on the quality of his car.
And you know, I mean, when you put the two together, you know, the New Orleans and Trump and the Cybertruck incident, you realize, you know, that the Cybertruck, the only person that died was the driver. And we don't even know if he died from the blast because with his gunshot wound in his head, which also begs the question. I don't know if we're going to get into that, but I immediately thought, did somebody shoot him, put him in the front seat, and then let the Cybertruck drive its way to the hotel?
You can't help but like think about like movies we've seen, right?
Yeah.
The guy was dead before he arrived.
Yeah. I mean, they can determine how long someone's been dead. I don't know if you can do that after somebody's been burned.
Oh, but Matt, I don't know if it should come out, but like the way the Cybertruck works, it's recording your face to make sure all the time. But when it goes into auto drive mode, it has to see you looking forward. And if it doesn't, it'll warn you and go out. But to that end, there should be a recording from inside that. I bet you there's an onboard recording of if that guy shot himself or not. So
right.
It's a different take, you know. It's like the whole inside of that car is like a ring cam. You know what I mean? It's recording all angles.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, one thing that we know, just a note on the mainstream media and how they like to report things. As you know, we've been talking about this story and we've never referred to it as a Tesla truck catching fire. But that's how a lot of the media has been framing this. Check this out. Check out these headlines. This is, folks, this is what if you still have those news apps on your phone, the default ones, this is what you would have seen. Tesla's Cybertruck catches fire outside Trump Hotel. Look at this. Cybertruck reportedly catches fire. One dead after Cybertruck explodes outside Trump Hotel. One dead. It was the driver. One dead after Cybertruck explodes outside the Trump Tower. I mean, to imply that the Cybertruck is just exploding and putting into this mode about, like, you know, the battery operated cars that explode and that sort of thing. I mean, it's
like they literally said, "Oh, we want to make Elon look bad on this, right?"
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Do we want to mention anything else? No, and just say, you know, well, didn't they do that when Trump was almost assassinated? Didn't they say like chaos at Trump event, but they didn't even say what it was?
Right.
You know, like at some point, like I know
Trump's speech stopped short.
Yeah, I'm not like no, it was loud sounds at Trump event or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Cracking sounds, and at some point, like first of all, like that's the actual misinformation, even though I hate that term. Mm-hmm. That's real misinformation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, they did find this guy's neighbor. And so we do have a clip. Colin Rugg posted this on X. Let me know. Again, We don't know if this is the guy or not, but like you said earlier at the top of the show, once the name is out there, they just go find everybody that
once
knows
his middle name, it's just gets done.
Yeah, if you ever know my middle name, we're in deep trouble. Okay, same thing with you, John. All right, let's watch this clip.
You know, he sold a Mustang not too long ago to one of his friends. Yeah, and the last time I spoke to him was not too long ago. He was asking for like a tool for his car. Yeah, his wife was really nice. Like, I'm sorry.
No worries.
No, I'm
okay.
just like shooken up right now because
Did they have any kids, or was it just him and his wife?
him and his wife, and they just had a kid.
Okay.
They just had a kid.
Do you know how recently they had a kid? Like how old?
Not too long. Yeah,
Okay.
very young.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you know how long they've lived here in Colorado
They
Springs?
lived here. So I have been here for 2 years now. So they've been here longer than I don't know. Exactly
Yeah.
I think his
how
last
long.
residence was 2019 at a different address. So he might have moved in somewhere around then. These are all pretty new, so 2020 seems about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, some folks out there gathering some news. I had heard that he was divorced, but I guess that's
Yeah. So that came from that interview. It came out that he was recently divorced, according to the neighbor. There's also some other things floating around on X that looks like he's just texting an old girlfriend, telling her that he rented a cyber truck, and it's not like romantic language or anything. It's just kind of like checking in kind of stuff, and that would make sense too. You know, if he's like broken his relationship. Also, I don't know if we have this, but there's a picture of him online just holding a newborn. So
yeah,
obviously
very sad.
the connective thing between the two of them is that this guy and the New Orleans guy, other than the other stuff, is that their lives were just, if we believe what we're being told, their lives were just in a state of spiraling, which is pretty sad.
It is, and I mean, I'm not surprised by that. Usually, people who get caught up in performing these acts of terror and violence are not well. That's the whole. If you're well, you're not doing these types of things, and we have to pray for everyone to find the right path and be well, because this is not the way to live life, and it's not the way we want our society to fall. So I'm very very contemplative today on these two issues here. The next one, of course, is what happened in New Orleans. This one is a little bit more bizarre because of the way that I think that the way that the media is treating it, or the investigators are treating it, and who's showing up to be the investigator. I mean, the police chief in New Orleans she's a character of herself, and then they turn it over to the FBI, who's another character. But she
looks like a Scooby-Doo character or something, or like. You know what I mean? Like it's so ridiculous. We'll show you. You'll see what we mean.
Yeah, let's watch this clip.
Madam, do you acknowledge that you let the victims down by not having an appropriate security plan?
Oh, that's not the correct. That's not correct. We would disagree with that. We had
It was
a
a plan that
security
allowed
plan.
an attacker to drive into a crowd.
And I take exception to that, and I do not agree with that.
That has
We
to
had
be a failure.
plan. We do know that people have lost their lives. But if you're experienced with terrorism, you would not be asking that question.
Well, with respect, experience of terrorism surely requires appropriate security protection.
Matt, they lead grandma away. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, dude. Like, how the hell is the librarian or the principal of the school is the chief of police? They got to lead her away. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
this is who's defending us. These bureaucrats, right? Grandma bureaucrat is what that was.
Yeah, and what they were I think what they were referring to was the steel barriers that can go up and down to block traffic from an area that has pedestrian walking, and on New Year's Eve those steel barriers were left down.
Yeah, like what, the chief of police, she's busy listening to NPR. She's not going to pay attention. Nobody knew what the hell was going on in New Orleans. That's not out of character for New Orleans.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, New Orleans is kind of known to be an S show, as they just do their thing, but to not have barriers up for freaking, like, I thought we just got done. Oh, we're gonna show the barriers. Yeah,
Do we have
That's what we're going to do. So right now, I can declare to you that the Bourbon Street is open.
Chief, where did those archers come from?
Sorry?
Those yellow archers, where did they come from?
Actually, we have them. I didn't know about them, but we have them. And so we have been able now to put them out.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't know that they had these things, and like, is she the one that makes the call on whether or not you put these barriers up, or I don't know. I saw some other photographs that looked like they had those mechanical ones that rise and fall, so maybe I'm mistaken.
They weren't there. We know they weren't there because he drove right through.
Right.
Right. Yeah, and those dump over ones, those are so ridiculous, man. Like that may be something I would have noticed. I'm always weird about like where vehicles can drive through. Any secure location, though, you can't get anywhere near it. So, yeah, this is just classic, bureaucracy, failure to protect the people. That's their only job, the library grandma that's the head of the police department there.
Yeah, and the Kevin Dalton account on X had this up, which this was regarding the ISIS flag that was flying on the back of the truck there. This is a great juxtaposition. I don't know if we have the audio for this clip, but he's showing the flag on the ground, and then the FBI agent in charge saying that this is not a terrorist attack. Yeah. So do we have that clip? Can we listen to that or no?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, here, let's see.
But yeah, I mean, look at
that.
Yeah,
we're going to play it up.
They're photographing the evidence.
Patrick said we'll be taking over the investigative lead for this event. This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found.
What does that mean? What does that mean, Josh?
Who is that
woman?
Oh, thank goodness there's like some 30-year-old will answer our questions. It's so ridiculous. Of course, they had to come out and say, there's no terrorist. There's no terrorism here. We can't have terrorism in the last few days of the failed Biden administration. We need to say that this is something else. And, there might be an ISIS flag on the back of the truck that we took a picture of, but that's just nothing.
You know where I first heard the term IED was when our troops were over in Afghanistan driving here and there, and their cars would explode from an improvised explosive device. I mean, that's an IED in my mind.
Yeah.
My mind that has been like torn apart since 9/11, right? With understanding, how the world is that an IED is a terrorist favorite weapon.
It happens in other countries.
Yeah,
right.
And it happens in other countries. So when she says this isn't a terrorist event, this is an IED event. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Like, and you're right. Like some 30-year-olds, whatnot. I mean, someone gave her a guff for having a nose ring. I didn't know nose rings were is that an FBI standard issue nose ring?
That's a new equity inclusion idea that you can just you can pierce your nose wherever you want. Like if you really think about it, like facial piercing standards, it's racist.
This is a joke. This is a joke. I mean, look, if someone can go out there and say, Trump is not presidential enough. I can't look at how is this guy a president? How's this guy a president? Then I can say the same thing. Like I want like FBI agent, Margaret, if it's going to be a woman, right? Margaret Smith, when she comes in like looking like what's her, like Sigourney Weaver or something, like
yeah. No, you're not going to get that, Matt. We're going to get
Scott Glenn from Silence of the Lambs, right?
And I don't know whoever led Grandma off the scene earlier, but like it's so there's no confidence here.
No.
At least the sheriff guy in Vegas is like, we're waiting on the I don't trust this, so I want the genetic test to come back.
I don't know. It just does not instill confidence. It does not instill confidence, especially when, and I know we don't really going to get into this story, but an improvised explosive device was some guy was caught trying to light one in Idaho. And that made some news, but they caught him before the explosion could happen, and he was trying to ignite it over on a train or a railway, and that could have had disaster. That could have been the third thing that popped up on the list, but luckily it got stopped. So that's why it hasn't made such widespread news. But these are the types of things where, like, well, who would have shown up to investigate that? Like, who is in charge? Who is running the show?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not naive enough to think that January 20th is magically going to turn things around. Like all of a sudden everybody's just it's gonna be, you know, like walking into the Munchkin land where you go from black and white to color and everything is great again. But but we need to get there, and we need to get there safely, and we need to have competent people in charge. I can't not stress that enough.
It also feels like
incredible.
too, Matt, and this is unfortunate, but there's like a siren call for the nutbags, right? Like, here we go. whatever, you know, makes them break. It's like time to do it now. I mean, I don't know why. We never know why, but
yeah, copycats are going to happen. That's just what's going to happen. Robbie Starbuck posted on X yesterday. They said that 3 men and a woman helped plant the IED in New Orleans, and today they say the terrorists acted alone. Do we have that tweet up there? It was a post from New York Post. And this is what's strange. So he drove through the Bourbon Street, but he had explosives in the back of the truck or in the truck, but they didn't go off, right? I mean, I just want to confirm that. Yeah.
It doesn't look like they went off. Yeah.
Right. So here's the post here. And it was from the New York Post. They say he acted alone, but before they say there were other people involved. I mean, and again, I'm old enough to remember when things like when the sort of, you know, the 24 or 48 hour information that comes out is sometimes a lot of turns into just lone gunman type theory when at the beginning there's more than one people involved. I think Oklahoma City bombing was a similar thing where.
Yep. Las Vegas too.
Yep, exactly. The Las Vegas shooting, right? That's what you refer to. Yeah. So we're gonna keep tabs on that. We had I guess we got out of whack here. Where are we going here? What's next? We showed that clip already.
The clip 8 is pretty crazy. Like, I don't know how this happened already.
Let's watch this. We'll comment.
We are here inside the New Orleans terrorist home. You can see that it's been clearly destroyed, the door at least, from the FBI raid yesterday. But if we walk through the home, we see some signs of what he was up to. He had this work area here, lots of different chemicals splayed around, and different electronics. This is, again, a work setup.
Matt, just literally walking through a crime scene. It's incredible.
If we go over here, actually, you can
the day after?
The
day after, which
normally here, the search warrant and the property.
Maybe they paid the landlord to get in or something. Because normally there'd be police tape up, you know?
Again, just left in disarray. There's a bedroom back here. And
open the fridge.
Who is she?
In the fridge. She's like a local reporter, I think.
Religious materials, his Qurans, an open Quran.
You know, it's not as bad as everyone said. Everyone's like, it's
as well as
there's the Quran.
Even the Bible.
That's not fair because it's a religion of peace,
books
obviously.
On Islam and his prayer rug just to the left of me here. And if we go back, there's another
prayer rug under a dartboard, or is that a dartboard?
Contact lenses, personal belongings, bathroom. This seems to be some sort of workspace, again, with other chemicals here. The light's still on. Some kind of station set up here. I'm not really sure what that was for.
That's a lot of equipment.
What we can assume was also a bathroom. You can see clothes left here, and just a sign that someone was here up until those last few moments when neighbors said he left just before the New Year's holiday, saying he was done with his lease. It was up, and and he was on his way to New Orleans where he would live there. Didn't take any furniture because he said his new home would be furnished. That's all we know so far.
Okay, so a landlord. And then this comment it just came in from Crystal Chavez. Very good comment. Looks like like a stage set. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it does. It does look weird, right?
I mean, I was like, all those cubby
clean.
cubby hole things, very inexpensive to go buy at Target or Walmart or something.
Man,
and then just start. I mean, but it was very bizarre. And then I have never ever seen that where a reporter is allowed to just breach.
No way. It's so
a crime
weird.
scene.
I mean, but
potential crime scene. To what end?
I don't know, man. Like, and there's no way they're done with forensics, or maybe they are. And I mean, like, this is the thing, man. Like, we don't know anything anymore because like the standards that we're used to are out the window.
That's incredible. That is incredible. I don't think I saw that. I don't think I saw that before. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Wow.
All right. Well, I guess that's the narrative they want us to believe. So we'll just go with it. So back to the Fort Bragg stuff, though, right? Is this what we want to get into? The Shadow of Ezra
6.
account. Yeah. The Shadow of Ezra guy. Here's what he says, or she. We don't know who the Shadow of Ezra is. But the common denominator, it's a good account, though. The common denominator among all three is Fort Bragg. And when they talk about all three, what are we talking about here? Who's all three?
That would
Idaho
imply,
guy?
No, our other friend.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, remember this guy?
The guy who tried to take out Trump.
Yeah, Wesley Ruth, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Ryan
Wesley Ruth.
Right.
I mean, that guy's been memory hold, right? Like, what happened to that guy?
And they caught him. He's alive, right?
I mean, for now. I mean, he's in jail, but
right. But two out of these three guys are dead.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that. The tweet there. He said, Fort Bragg, this is the headquarters of the 4th Psychological Operations Group, which specializes in psychological warfare. Their operations are aimed at shaping perceptions and influencing behavior. They're often described as mind-altering in a metaphorical sense. The U.S. Army's elite Green Berets, based at Fort Bragg, undergo rigorous training that pushes the limits of psychological endurance, survival skills, and unconventional warfare tactics. Their exercises are so intense and realistic that participants often find themselves questioning the boundaries between simulation and reality, a testament to the transformative and mental taxing nature of their preparation. I'm thinking like Jason Bourne, Right. I mean, honestly,
it's not far off, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be as jujitsu master and weapons master and stuff, but in terms of the psychological warfare, we know that MK Ultra is real. We know that the Army does have that unit that's of psychological warfare. They post their own propaganda videos or their I don't know what
their commercials.
Their commercials, yeah.
We should pull one of those for next week's show. Their commercials are incredible.
They are incredible. They're really cool to watch. But they make you think. And if this is and if those three people have anything to do with that program or anything like that, like you said, Fort Bragg is a major fort that houses 55,000 people at one time. And if you're in the Army, you're going through Fort Bragg at one point or another, perhaps. So it's a fairly loose connection, but a connection nonetheless. The fact that they're all in there. The other connection, I don't know if we have this on here, is that we all knew that Ryan Ruth was a big Ukraine supporter, but there was a photograph of the Cybertruck guy wearing what appeared to be a Ukraine shirt as well. So there's a Ukrainian connection.
That's here. Right. There's another. I don't know if we have that, but in one of the text threads to the girlfriend, she asks him, "Are you back from Germany?" And in that text thread, he mentions, I was working on drones. It's a really weird, like, brief comment. And this is in the text thread that came out about him talking about renting the Cybertruck. It's kind of like it's a benign conversation, but it does have little interesting threads.
Right.
Which is funny because all this internet investigation sleuthing is just literally happening by people on X, which would lead us to image 7,
Yes.
Babylon B.
Yeah.
The FBI.
Go ahead.
FBI asks ex-users to please stop solving crimes before they do. It's kind of the truth.
So
I mean, it's unfortunate, but
it's this type of incompetence that I think is helping set up. It can only work in Kash Patel's favor. I mean, if he's
can't
sitting,
take the job soon enough.
Yeah, if he's sitting in front of the Senate answering questions, and he's able to reference what happened on New Year's Day,
yeah,
and say what should have been going on or what should have happened, or I mean, even to the effect of we would never have allowed the press to enter a potential crime scene. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. So
it's in the case of the crime scene, Matt, it's almost like they have everything they need.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need more to have the crime scene. They don't need to dig into every single thing. There's no way they have already.
No.
So
no.
Now it's completely tampered. Now it's totally messed with. So
right. Did you have Josh? Did you have with you the 72-hour kit?
I do. Yeah, I do. Which
did I?
Oh, look at this.
There it is, folks. There it is. The 72-hour survival kit from Uncharted Supply.
Yeah, we're gonna break this down, Matt, and show you everything in it. But this thing's legit. I just saw this in wait, go back, guys. Go back. Let me show you. I just saw this in the movie oh, why am I blinking? Homestead. Right? Like
yes.
The nuke goes off in LA and the dad's like, get your go bag to the kid. And he pulls this off the wall.
The Uncharted Supply? Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, so what we'll do next week is we're going to go through all the stuff in here.
Yes.
And then I'm going to go into we're in Idaho. I'm going to go into the wilderness nude and I'm going to live off everything in here. Okay. It'll be Naked and Afraid Uncharted version. Okay. So
I love it.
You're going to want to tune in for that. I might not be nude. That might be too much, but this thing's legit. I mean, look at this.
Yeah, that's legit. Is that a dry bag as well? I mean, is that right?
It is. It is. So you can see on the top, it like,
that's great.
It folds over. So it keeps all your stuff.
Awesome. All right. We'll put up that QR code so people can scan it.
Yeah.
Head over to this is the 72 survival system that Josh was showing. Head over to Uncharted Supply. You scan the QR code. It'll take you right there. That's the easiest thing to do. Don't bother typing in the URL. Just scan the QR code. And yeah, next week we'll open up the bag. We'll check out what's in it. There's the bag. It looks just like it. Like it's no joke. You actually had one. Look at that.
You see how the dude's got like on his back? It's a list.
A list.
That's
so
what comes out of the bag.
List?
That's what it looks like. You pull a bag out of the bag, and on it is a list of everything in there
that's
and
great.
what it does. Yeah, it's really clever. Yeah. And then you can see it unfolded up here in the corner. But we'll walk you through it in our survival.
Yes, because 95% of all survival situations are resolved within 72 hours. And 72 hours, that's 3 days to you and me. So that first 72 hours are extremely critical. So you gotta have the right gear.
This also has something that you need if you have kids. Within the first 30 minutes of feeding them, they'll ask you for a snack. And this may have snacks in it too.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I need a snack. Have you seen that meme?
That's great.
The mom's collapsed down the stairs and she's like, I need help. And the kid's like, can I have a snack?
Can I have a snack? I love it. Okay, well then let's wrap this up with kind of speculating. Hopefully, there has been some sort of speculation of what we can expect in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And so this woman, Sarah Adams, is she a former CIA? I mean,
she
is someone
is.
ever former CIA?
That's a really good question.
You got to take all this stuff with a grain of salt.
Oh, we're supposed to believe you now, CIA spook. Yeah.
But she was on the Sean Ryan show.
An amazing show. Yeah.
And talking about homeland attacks in 2025. So let's watch this clip.
How certain are you that we'll see something in 2025?
I'm certain we'll either have Embassy attacks in 2025 or the Homeland attack or both?
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. So, Sarah Adams, former CIA targeter, and like I said, we got a love-hate relationship. I love having you on. I hate the information that you bring us because it's just, but, you know, we need to know it because while the government doesn't want to take this shit seriously, a lot of citizens do, and, you know, they're getting ready. A lot of people are getting ready. A lot of people are yanking their kids out of school because of safety. A lot of people are.
John, what's a CIA targeter? What is that?
Yeah, so a CIA targeter, in at least in Sarah's explanation of what it is these people are given a list, or they're meant to go find people that are important. These are they call them targets, and they kind of do this game where they like find one person and they find out who's important to that person, and her job in the what we call GWAT, Global War on Terror, was to find the potential terrorists that were going to do attacks on bases, embassies, all that, to target them and figure out what they were going to do next. And now her contention, now that she's left the CIA, and she says that while she was in the CIA, they knew that there were cells, inactive or, you know, silent cells of terrorists in the United States, and that they were at some point going to start attacks, you know, revenge attacks for, I think one she thought was for Soleimani, the Iranian general that was killed. She thought some would be for that. But her whole thing that she kind of like the bomb she drops in this interview with Sean Ryan is she says, we may see suicide vests, and Americans have never seen a suicide vest on American soil, and law enforcement doesn't know how to handle them. What's crazy is I think that interview was only like barely a month old, and we have essentially what we call homegrown terrorist attacks taking place.
This
already.
Yeah, and this is what like just gets my antenna up, because I'm just kind of like, now we're gonna have all this stuff. Is like it's right. Like now we're gonna have it. Like we've been hearing. I've been hearing about this for 24 years.
Right.
You know, since 9/11, that we were gonna have this stuff on our homeland. Right. And if it seriously starts to happen now, just as Trump takes the oath of office for the second time with a completely different mindset and a completely different mandate. And this woman comes out we've never seen before talking about suicide vests and all this, and then it kind of starts to happen. I don't know, man. I mean, this isn't to say that you should ignore it and be lackadaisical about it. Like we always have to be prepared, but this is I'm very, very frustrated by this.
The FBI they just keep proving to us that they have selective interest. So how much effort did they put into finding every person that was at J6? You know, 4 years of effort, exactly. Millions of dollars to find the J6 folks. Meanwhile, we almost completely forgot about the pipe bombs that were set around DC. And the FBI
they just released new footage.
Yeah, the FBI acted like they forgot too. They released the footage yesterday, which no one knows why they ever do it. Maybe so it won't get noticed, but we have that footage. We can show some of that.
Yeah, let's watch that. Incoming, folks.
Incoming footage. I'm going to mute myself and cough.
Thank you for that. Yeah, look at this.
Yeah, so you can see the suspect in the top right.
Yep.
And this is one of three, I believe. Now, I have something to say here, too, once we're done with this footage. It's really a crazy claim that's taking place.
Don't tell me he drives off on that scooter. Is that his scooter?
No. Scrub this footage a little bit, guys. Yeah.
So this is sitting there. This isn't the one I've seen. Is this the only thing?
This is where he's gonna set that thing down. And
okay, well, this tells me nothing. I thought there was other footage. I mean, what?
There's 3 other shots. We'll try to look for those. But Matt, this is a really important fact. And I think we have an article over at WorldNet Daily about this, but get this. So this is like the big new thing, right? Remember 2000 Mules cellular data?
Oh, right.
So,
yeah, of course.
So in their investigation, I mean, it must have been that old lady we saw in New Orleans that was heading it. But in their investigation, they collected all the cellular data from whoever it was, AT&T or Verizon in the region, right? They collected it. And then when they went to analyze it, they said, oh, the data is corrupted.
Come on.
We couldn't get a ping on the suspects because the data is corrupted, right? So then the telecoms are like, our data is not corrupted. So that's called a cover up. The FBI is covering up. And you know what we're going to find out, Matt? I just know it. This is my speculation. We're going to find out what's called a confidential informant, right? Is probably walking around setting down pipe bombs. Why are they doing that? It's long been speculated that was the plan B if no one went into the Capitol. And, you're going to tell me that the FBI doesn't care who's leaving pipe bombs in DC and that they would know instantly. For instance, they would do what they did for Luigi. They would track that person from camera to camera to camera until they finally saw their face.
This is why people this is why people have zero trust in whoever's in charge of the FBI. I mean, you just look at this and you say, I have zero trust. I mean, I know people are watching right now who are feeling the same things that we're feeling right here. Is like, you can't tell us on one side that you tracked, like you just said, you tracked Luigi from New York City into Pennsylvania, wherever he was found, but you don't know who this pipe bomb guy is.
And there's three of them, three different people
in Washington, D.C.,
in a city that's got more cameras than anywhere else.
Incredible. Incredible. Burn it all down.
It's negligence. I feel like you said it, right? Like burn it all down. Like we're past, I don't trust them.
Yeah.
We're at the part where they're the bad guy. And that just goes back to what we always say. Like this transition of power can't happen fast enough, but also like, look how dishonest they are. I mean, I'm cynical or skeptical that they're just gonna roll over. I don't know. That seems unlikely, right? They haven't to this point.
I don't know, Josh.
I know.
But folks, that's why you gotta stay alert. You gotta watch this program. You gotta get frustrated with us so you can do something about it. And act local. Act local. Keep things local. And of course
they're teasing. Yeah.
And get yourself
and stay healthy.
Stay healthy. Yes, you must stay healthy. How
you going to do that, Matt?
With Z-Stack, baby. Z-Stack. The Zelenko protocol. Dr. Zelenko, who he became nationally, if not worldwide famous during the COVID pandemic for coming up with this protocol that will help boost your immune system. It gives you the ability for your immune system to fight back against viruses and sickness that is out there because it doesn't just treat your symptoms, it treats the actual problem, inflammation and so forth. And so they've come up with these various different protocols. We're not doctors here, so consult your own physician on this stuff, but this is what is needed during this cold and flu season. Scan the QR code, click the link in the description, and use the code WND and you'll get 5% off your order. Z-Stack, Z-Shield, Z-Night, Z-Spike. Go to the website and check out all of these things to find out how you can fix what ails you and get you prepared. It's about a defense, putting up that wall of defense against that.
I think I need the ZD if they have that, some vitamin D. It's a little cold out here.
Yeah, we definitely need our vitamin D in Idaho, that's for sure.
We have this comment. I just want to put it up from Crystal Chavez. Thank you, Crystal. They did track him. He went on the subway and got into a car. They have the license plate number
of the bomber of the J6
of
pipe
one of the pipe bomb guys. Yeah, I've actually heard this as well. Who
is he? What's his middle name?
We can't know because his middle name is confidential and his last name is informant. It's going to be a thing, dude. We're going to find that out for sure.
I mean, who is he? If we should know who he is. I don't know, but we're going to let Josh go. It's the top of the hour almost. We're going to go let him cough up a lung. Go get yourself some Z-Stack, buddy. You need it. You muted yourself. I'm going to take it from here, folks. Head over to Rumble. Follow us on Rumble.
Download the Rumble app. That's what we're saying to people now.
Yes, download the Rumble app.
Put the app on your phone, folks. And go to X, of course. Follow us over there, over on social media, Instagram, even on Gab, guys. Are you on Gab? Are any of you on Gab? We're over there too. It's like 80,000 people follow us on Gab, Matt. It's
all right,
crazy.
Great. Are we live on Gab? Do they have a live feature?
And you know, it won't go live there. So unfortunately,
fair enough.
If you watched this far, we really appreciate it. Thanks for all the comments, guys.
Watch this far. This is the creme de la creme right at the end.
Is
here.
so
like
good.
This is where, like,
how could you not?
Yeah, you want to watch this far because you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So, all right, folks. Well, God bless you. We'll see you next week. Today's Friday the 3rd. Let's have a safe weekend and get to January 6th is on Monday.
Man, folks. That's on Monday. Wow, that's
and,
so crazy.
We promised we'd have a speaker tally. I don't think they've elected a speaker yet. Otherwise, we would have heard that news. So we're gonna.
Oh wait. So Mike Johnson is still the speaker. Yep. Okay. So
it's confirmed.
Yeah.
See, aren't you glad you waited this far? All right. Well, Mike Johnson is confirmed as speaker. All right. So that means that January 6th, when they do the final certification of the results on Monday, they can do it now because the speaker will be ready to go. So that's great. All right. Excellent. All right, folks. Well, Josh, I'll see you then.
Thank you. Everybody have a great weekend. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you very much. That's really nice. Thank you.